you bought your breeding cock and weeks have passed, it's not showing any signs of crowing, no morning announcements, nothing. And what's more concerning is the fact that it's not even showing an interest in your hens. Sounds familiar? That's exactly what I'm going through as well. So I recently visited a certain farm and I was gifted with two handsome, hens. And one of them is this one. So I decided to keep this one, the other one I ate it. Why did I decide to keep this one? Firstly, because my local hens, they don't have a mate. But also the other thing is that this is a rainbow cock. As you can see, it's very attractive. And I wanted to diversify, and the other ones are hens, local hens, so I wanted to diversify on the genetics. But unfortunately, this young man here, this handsome man you're seeing here, ever since I got it and I decided to keep it, it's been like 5 days now, and it's showing no interest, like zero interest in mating with my hens. But it's not also, crowing. You can't even hear any morning calls, nothing. And I got real concerned. So I embarked on the journey to find out what could be the factors behind that unexpected behavior. And what I discovered will even surprise you. So the very first factor, it could be age. It could be that maybe your rooster is still young, because a sexually mature rooster is able to mate with hens when it's between 6 to 8 months old. So if your rooster is not that much old, it may not be able to crow, but also it may not be able to mate with your hens. The other reasonable factor, it could be the environment, when you're keeping your hens and roosters, when it's too loud or it's too noisy, it's too hot, if the temperatures are too high or the temperatures are too low, it could be another problem why your rooster is not mating with your hens, or it's not crowing, because they tend to conserve the energy. Instead of wasting it in crowing, they may choose to conserve that energy. The other possible factor that you may require to investigate is the fact that there is social dynamics among chickens as well. For example, if you introduce your cock in an already established hens or roosters and they're a bit aggressive, the newcomer may tend to be more submissive, because once you introduce these new ones, it's going to disrupt the hierarchies, the social hierarchies that are already existing. So if the other ones are aggressive, this one is going to choose to be submissive, leading to decreased crowing or even mating. The other thing is, if this one where it has been amongst other roosters and it's used to fighting and being aggressive, if your flock where you're introducing it to, there are no competitors, it's the only one, and they are just hens that are just submissive to it, it may choose to just, what am I fighting for? There is nothing to compete for. So let me relax. The territory is already mine. So that could be also another possible factor, because there is no one to fight with. The other possible reason behind that kind of behavior is health issues. If your hen or if your rooster is experiencing some health issues, let's say injuries or another sickness, because we all know that health issues like sickness or injuries tend to suppress natural behavior. So it may choose to conserve the energy in the process, or maybe get healing itself. So you make sure you want to make sure you check out for symptoms of lethargy and other symptoms when you're looking out for any sickness in the bird. Let's say if it's not eating properly, it's not it's not active, or it's just sleeping like I mentioned, you may establish that your rooster is sick. That's why it's not mating with your hens, or it's not crowing, because it's choosing to conserve the energy in healing itself. proper nutrition is very vital, because any deficiencies in nutrition, it can affect not only humans fertility, but also birds fertility. Take an example: if layers are not fed properly, if they don't get the balanced diet, their production is going to be very, very low. The same applies to the roosters. If their nutrition or if their diet is not balanced very well, they might lose interest in mating. So you want to make sure whatever you're feeding your roosters and other hens, of course, because even the hens have to have interest in mating with the rooster as well. So if the diet you're giving them doesn't have the right content, nutritional content, they may actually lack the energy. As we all know, the mating process requires energy. So if you're not giving them the feeds that have enough energy source, they will not have the energy to mate with your hens. So make sure the nutrition is properly met for your roosters to be able to mate. So in my case, when it comes to what could be affecting this bird, from the factors that I've shared, I suspect two culprits. The first one could be the environment, the other one could be the age. Because when it comes to other factors, let's say nutrition factors, I ensure that my birds are feeding on a well-balanced diet. Even when these ones that are in the backyard, I for sure make sure whatever they are eating is properly balanced, especially when it comes to carbohydrates. That's the energy that it might require. They are feeding very well. The other thing, when it comes to health issues, my birds, I'm certain 100% they are healthy. And where I got this handsome man from, I got it from a trusted breeder. And she's so knowledgeable and so experienced when it comes to poultry farming. And I'm thinking one of these days I'm going to host her on my channel so that you can also benefit from her deeper knowledge when it comes to poultry farming. So the number one factor that I suspect to be impacting this bird's mating activity, it's actually the environment. Because where I got him from, it's a huge farm and the chicken house is so huge. So him with his brothers, they're being like loitering around in a huge chicken house. But when it comes to me here, it's just a small chicken coop because I'm doing this in the backyard. So that could be factor number one. But also, of course, where this handsome man has been growing from, it's a quiet, calm environment. It's more like a rural setting. Even when it's in an urban setting, but when it comes to me, this is a more urban setup because there's a lot of noise where I'm raising these birds from. And of course, one of the stressors, environmental stressors when it comes to birds, like I mentioned earlier, it's the space and then the noise. If the place is too noisy, then it could affect him. So that's the number one culprit that I'm suspecting. The other thing I'm suspecting is the age. Much as you see him, he's heavy. As you can see him, very heavy, very strong, very tall. But this boy, he's actually 4 months old. And like I mentioned earlier, for a rooster to be sexually mature, it has to have attained at least 6 months. So these are the factors that I'm suspecting that are preventing my boy from mating with my girls. So what am I supposed to do? I'm just supposed to wait for him so that he can acclimatize with the environment first of all, but he also has to attain the maturity age for him to be able to do the job that I've kept him for. I'm not going to eat him. I made up my mind because I need diversified genetics, but also I want to avoid inbreeding in my flock. The other thing, actually, we are advised if your flock is a bit bigger, have 2 roosters in there, okay? Because when it's one, like I mentioned, it's going to be reluctant, but if there are 2, it will introduce some kind of competition. I got that knowledge from some trusted farmers as well. If you think there is another reason that you suspect or that you know of that could be preventing my cock from mating with my hens, then leave it in the comment section below so that we can further the discussion. Other than that, this is Call Me Frida House, where we plan ideas and harvest results. And of course, if you found this video so helpful, you know what to do. All right, see you in the next video.